opportunity, they took it, and it weren't on brand. The one thing we could say about our football club, even that though you lot slate me for sitting here and saying, I don't think we defend to the same standards that we did last season. I don't smell the same defensive blood in the air. I think that was on brand today. The one thing you could say about Arsenal, whether there's injuries and all of that, were compact, were difficult to break down. That was a big talking point going into the game. I'd like to thank the Lord, first things first, because really we're very lucky that it is only 1-0. Ramos hit the post. I'm sure before that, Bacola came off the bench, instant impact, whatever. That's on brand. With the manager making things, doing things late, that's on brand. The brain fart of a goal 3 minutes in, take nothing away from Paris Saint-Germain, you know. Street smart, took their opportunities, their attackers, like we know in a game like this, did their defensive due diligence to a T. Kvaratskhelia, wavy. They didn't do much, but wavy. Dembele, wavy. Even Dembele dropping in that false nine. Again, they're very different, but the way Luis Enrique thinks about football is on brand with what Arteta's doing. They like strikers, but they're not really on that. Even Dembele's initial dropping deep, he was really deep. He was doing all of that Ødegaard stuff, very deep. Go and watch the build up to his goal in several phases where, again, people are not compact, people are not following runners. And I mentioned the atmosphere moment earlier, yeah, because people in the grounds in the last 2 games have said that it ain't really been there, which has been on brand with the players. It's nice to beat Real Madrid, but it's nice to beat Real Madrid, but PSG, you don't want it to stop here. And again, have no regrets. As I said, I'm all about performance, you know. Have no regrets. If you put your best foot forward and you defend and attack and do all of that you need to, and the other men across the pitch were the better players, fair enough, which they were. But you didn't make them work. Moment of brilliance, great. You didn't make them work. Didn't. And now you got it all to do. But it's on brand. It's on brand. It really is on brand. Now, if we break down the game from a tactical point of view, before that, the first thing I would say, on brand with putting in a performance, big Arsene Wenger. Yeah, he's been in the Champions League since he left. Big Arsene Wenger's at the ground and he ain't really turned up at the Emirates. We're in the big time again. First time since 2009. It's very romantic that the stadium he helped pay off. You know, we're playing in it in the big time. The couple players are coming from the academy. We all know where Wenger was with that, and that's the performance we put in. I'm sure all of you, none of your friends and family must have been dinging off your phone. Can you get me a ticket? And that people were probably not talking to you. If you know Declan Rice, I'm not even getting at Rice. He was one of our better players, but his box in the ground must be filled to the brim with friends and family and plus ones, and that's what you want to do. And forget that yourselves, because I'm not here to say the players didn't care. You know, notice I haven't said that. I don't think anyone that's got half a brain. The players are obviously who wouldn't want to win. But it's the same old things. It's the same old tactics, not switching things up. So very predictable. It's the same old brain farts or moments in concentration, 3 minutes in. Even if I'm honest, I have to watch it again. Saka, you could have probably helped Timber out, but there's several phases. Timber actually rise. Saka, the whole team is disjointed. You're not following runners. Being solid defensively and making it difficult for a team of their magnitude is bang on the money. We're not getting the ball to Saka quick enough. We're going long unnecessarily with Real Madrid. What we did made Real Madrid do. We had to do it. There's only so many times you could do that. I felt initially we're going forward like we're just knocking it. It's not going to bang with Trossard. Obviously, we got a bit of joy at the third minute in it. So it's all down the shitter, really. Couple fans, you know, there must have been delays on the TFL and whatnot, but you know, a couple fans probably didn't even get into the ground and were a goal down, so that weren't good enough there. But and I know things go wrong sometimes, but bro, semi-finals of the Champions League, you cannot start that first half an hour. If I'm being nice to you lot, the first half an hour like that. The first half an hour, I'd even say I'd say 35 minutes. I think towards the end of the first half, cool, started to look like you can make things happen and not make things happen, but you ended the half strongly. One of those games where when your team's finally in it now, you don't want the half to end. Unfortunately, that's not how football works. Now, credit where due, naturally, you know, the managers obviously, if I was Mikel Arteta, I'd sit there and say, you lot talk it out together. I would sit here and say, gentlemen, I'm not going to insult your intelligence, you know, you're all grown men. You ain't played well enough. You know this, but I'm going to add my 2 pence and say, I'm being fucking shit at this moment in time. I have to take responsibility, but you're not moving fucking shit. The Real Madrid thing means nothing, and it was all going to be for nothing if you don't. Now, with that being said, obviously, if you're Luis Enrique, you probably think you can get another goal. They're gonna ramp up the pressure. Everyone knew the second half was going to kick off like that. Credit to the players. I think you started the second half very well. I think generally the second half was a massive improvement on the first. Obviously, VAR is what it is. You know, Nicholas Hover done his homework. It is what it is. And again, as I said, with certain things being on brand, no solutions, no real options off the bench, kind of the same old player standing up to be counted. Martinelli and Trossard, broski, come on, less so on Trossard. I think that was a dead shot, but Martinelli, there's not a bigger Arsenal fan than me, than Martinelli. I probably support Martinelli more than some of his family members, but broski, and again, there's only so mad you can get at it. There's only so mad you can get at it. Because on brand, I've seen this a million times, but still, Trossard, still. And again, this is why, again, we know we're going to try and hopefully our Champions League thing don't end, but this is kind of our problems. We have saw this at several points last year. We're very fortunate we didn't concede a couple of goals. We had chances, we didn't take them. Martin Ødegaard, I still think he's carried an injury, and I'm not saying get at the captain and stuff, but it's ineffective, bro. It's ineffective. It's unacceptable. I think, not that you've been playing amazing this season, but let's say you've come back to this level, cool, injured, not really doing stuff. I feel it's dropped now. I feel it's dropped even more. And we can't afford to carry players. And I'm not saying he's the only one, but we can't afford to carry people. Whether we can play someone else, I don't know. For me, the only thing Wanyeri can't do is, and it's going to sound mad, whatever, well, obviously, but whatever Mikel Arteta wants him to do off the ball, he micromanage, I need you to stand here, all the stuff that Ødegaard, I guess, has to do. I don't think he's up to speed with that off the ball. On it, he can do it. It's getting to that point. I'm not necessarily saying do that against PSG. I don't think that is going to happen. And I'm not saying it's the right or wrong thing, but you have to try something else now. You have to try something else. I wouldn't say Declan Rice was amazing and this, that, head and shoulders above you. And a bunch of boys. Miles Lewis Skelly. If I don't do man of the match when we lose and all that, but Lewis Skelly, real G. You just understand it. Saliba and Kivior. I think you lot did your thing, but even towards the end of the game when PSG had a couple chances, they could have nicked it. You're losing your discipline. Kivior charging out of nowhere. Some good moments from Saliba reaction, but they started moving mad. Timber, I think he was okay. Testy day. Karachkila, bad boy. Saka, don't think he was terrible. Obviously, things got agenda. Ineffective, had a shot on target. I will say this. You see the moment Saka was booked, obviously for kicking the ball away. How is that a free kick? How is that a free kick? Mendes, good game today. Might have been a moment for us. It weren't good enough today. From if your name, for me, if your name's not Merino, if your name's not Lewis Skelly, if your name's not to a degree Raya, Saliba, Kivior, with a little bit of a discount with them, man. Declan Rice, he ain't do nothing, really. But it doesn't matter if one person did well and the other person didn't do well. You're all in this together. I'm not interested in that. The main thing for me is you did not put your best foot forward. Now, yes, it is only 1-0. We have to thank our lucky stars that it's not anything more. And the reality is you're going to have to approach the game a lot differently from a mental point of view, first thing, because for whatever reason, you didn't approach it in the best way. You didn't. I don't know why. And Real Madrid, cool, respectfully, PSG is not Real Madrid, but at the same time, you saw what life could be like if you equipped yourself well, if you start games well, if you believe, if you do all those things, you see what could happen. You didn't. If it ends 0-0 in the second leg, you're going to look back at this first leg. Now, I flip that and hope PSG look at their missed chances and you should have killed us when we had enough, when you had your opportunity, but you shot yourself in the foot. And one of the people I was on TalkSport with, they raised a good point in the sense of, obviously, the Premier League, Liverpool have won it, but I wouldn't say we've thrown it away, but there's been changes made for a couple of weeks now, give or take. Could you flip it and say we're at the point of momentum now? Like the best team. I know it sounds mad, but what's left of this Champions League, which we hope is at least 2 more games, and the Prem, is it just playing the best team now? Like, not that we've got the bodies to pick from, and obviously maybe a Wanyeri and for Ødegaard and things of that ilk, but is it just a case of just playing the same team? Could look going cold, because he made a point about that kind of happened to Paris Saint-Germain. But I think this game, if I isolate it away from what it means, it's on brand with a lot of reasons as to why we've not got over the line, or just many Premier League games. Individuals. Because even Martin Ødegaard, like, broski, whether you're injured or whatever at this point, you either need to come out the team to protect you, or you need to perform, play a lot of games now. Play a lot of games. Even the players that nothing to scream and shout about. This game also showed football decided at both ends why we probably needed a Magalhaes in there. No excuse, because the team out there could have done better. But why you might need a Magalhaes out there, proper centre half, not dissing Kivior, because you're not really a talking point per se of the game. We have to thank our lucky stars once again that chances weren't taken. And we all know we need a striker, speaking of chances taken. But I always waffle about the midfield. Some of you have been following me for a very long time. You always make the running jokes about DG really wants a centre midfielder. You ain't got Partey, which evidently you move Rice now. Marino, it's all messed now. Like we got some players that are in a rich run of form, whether it's someone like Marino who's just joined the club, or Rice, who some were questioning his first half of the season. We're having to tweak things essentially. It's one thing talking about Partey, which obviously he got himself the yellow, and it is what it is. But this is why you need depth. And on top of that, it's one thing talking about Partey. Bro, Jorginho's needed today. Forget everything. And if Jorginho would have got overran and all of that, because he got some fucking temperament about him. Boys, calm down, play ball. Because that's what was needed. I didn't even, away from all that stuff. Bro, you lot didn't enjoy today. You didn't enjoy today. PSG did. Dembele did. Every now and again, the camera's panning to the ultras and whatnot. They did. Fans didn't. The gaffer didn't. You sure as hell didn't. Is what it is, man. Like, tomorrow when we do live streams and that, I'll obviously do the rounds and tactical stuff and all of that kind of stuff. But today is, bro, football's a simple game, you know. Complicated by a lot of idiots, man. Arteta shooting himself in football. It is what it is, man. It is what it is at this point, folks. Like, what can you do about it? What can you say? That's my sentiment done, man. Smash the like, not done, but smash the like button. Let me see you lot's thoughts. Big up to you, Deluded, in the chat. Massive game. Hopefully we can celebrate a great first leg with. See what you're doing to my guy Abdullah. He commented that at 9:07 a.m. My guy, man. Skip was hiding. You call him Wonder Guard, yet he hides every game. Trash guard. I'll hold that. I do call him Wonder Guard, class vision, and he's still all of that, but he's moving mad. Why is that one thing in YouTube? Yeah, if I rate a player or don't rate a player, like if I don't rate Kivior, for example, and he has a good game, why do I have to maintain that he's shit or he's played shit? Or likewise, because I like Ødegaard, why can't I do the obvious? I don't know about all the other YouTube stuff, but like, and you lot run banter, but those of you that hear on a frequent basis, you know, I don't get down like that. Essentially, like, Ødegaard is not doing the business. And if you want my honest opinions on Ødegaard, I look at it in a twofold. And this is like, but it's too late for the PR stuff. I'm not selling you. I'm trying to play you back into form. Forget this season. I'm trying to mess with you. Pause. Yeah, defo, in case. But upgrades are needed, you know. Because if we do address, in an ideal world, we address all the other areas, there needs to be someone to provide some competition. You better pray to God that 1 year we don't get up to speed off the ball. Because if he asks his Miles Lewis Skelly for whatever tuition, extra tutoring he was doing to get his look in, it could get long. I was having dark thoughts watching that. I was thinking, bro, yeah, I'd love to call for Fabio Vieira. I'm not saying he would have been it, but you're on big money, Ødegaard. You can't afford to have another season like this. Of course, bad moments happen to every footballer, but you can't afford this. I think he's a better footballer than Bruno Fernandes, as I've always said. But you know the one thing I wish you had, Martin Ødegaard? And I'm not even criticizing you, Ben. You're a man, you're captain. Bruno's on dragging his team through. Say what you want about that. He's on dragging his team through. And there's a couple men in our team that are on that. Let's not lie. Whether it's right to say or not. Kai Havertz would have been good today. He just should have been. I thought Sterling was going to come on. But it is what it is, man. What's you lot's thoughts, man? But yeah, he was horrible today. Ødegaard, he was dead. He's been dead for a minute. Like, yeah. You got honest. You was involved in the Madrid goal. You did all right against Ipswich. You technically got an assist against Crystal Palace, but you're a better player than this. It's not good enough. You're one of the oldest young G's there. Like, you're the Capitano, and I'm not asking you to shout and scream. And bro, I'm trying to see you. I was watching the game, and he obviously Arteta's doing his antics on the sidelines. His heat map is definitely more than yours in midfield today. And yeah, obviously, if I watch the game, Ødegaard was obviously running up and down, and I'm not criticizing him on an idiot thing, but bro, you're not being seen. I know it's different positions and that, but bro, like some of you should be seeing a young 18-year-old in Miles Lewis Skelly, who ironically made his Champions League debut in that game in October against PSG, and he's obviously got the England cap and all the things have happened. We are relying on him a lot more this season than a lot of you. He's had a better game against a team of PSG standards, where players have won stuff, played in big games, and the Real Madrid one. Some of you should be looking around. Some of you should feel a sense of guilt. Now, Mikel Arteta, you need to a degree, reinvent yourself for next season. You need to find a way for low blocks. You need to find plan Bs. You need to get better with subs. That's what I feel for all the good points you have. But yeah, Ødegaard, it comes back to what we know, innit? The depth of the squad. Because I know we dumped out Real Madrid, but we ain't got no little, historically throughout that time, little Vasquez or Brahim Diaz that's going to come off the bench and score. It's dark, but Could any okay have been useful? You see, Arsenal, you're making me. The Madrid game made me dream. This one's making me. Oh, mate, being a football fan's crazy. Get Ødegaard out of my club. He's not my captain. He's not an Arsenal player from here on in my eyes. Clown. Arteta kept this guy on the pitch for 8-9 minutes. Why was Mustafi allowed back at the Emirates? Damn, calm down, man, Shakil. Told people about that Ødegaard brother. Vitaly was moving to him. And that was the battle we spoke about. Because naturally, when they've got possession, probably a bit different owing to not having certain players available. But you'd imagine, like, Vitaly is all about the place. And the one thing he probably needs to add to his game is goals. But he's going to drop and try and receive it off the centre half as they're committed to play it out from the back. Now, that's normally Ødegaard's job, or give or take whoever's up front, right? But then it's the flip side when it happens to him. You'd imagine Vitaly is going to follow it. It is what it is. What did we say going into this game? For me, the main thing was, yeah, we've got players with some individual quality and guys that might just do some mad moments, even if they're not necessarily anything to scream and shout about. But I wanted to approach this game in a sense of, cool, PSG are better, way better than us on the ball. We're better than them, arguably, not today, but arguably we're better than them off it. Make that happen. Now, there's going to be elements where they're going to have to defend better than us and we're going to have to be better with the ball than them. Obviously, that's how football works, but that was a cheap goal. Nothing from PSG. Good from them. Competent work from them. Competent work from them. We played stupid games. We won stupid prizes. And that's what sucks. I'm not going to say I'm happy with losing, but I don't mind losing, you know. It comes with sport. Anyone that doesn't accept losing, liking is not the right word. Stop watching this sport. But you can't go to sleep and sleep well. All of you could, well, apart from, not that we can, Marino, Rice, Miles Lewis-Skelly, the two centre-halves, not of them man's level, but to the centre-halves. All of you lot can play against Bournemouth. You can't be tired. No way in hell. I know physios and we got a rest, but none of you could be tired. None of you could be tired. I will say, Trossard, to be fair to you, I will say, I think there was a bit more heart from you in the second half. But it doesn't all come back to this, but indirectly, it all kind of piles back to the market, man. Like, you look around, you're like, well, we need some stardust, bro. Like, I don't think these players were amazing per se, and they look as good today as they do in their YouTube reels. But I'm watching the game, and Carrot Skill was good, of course. Looking at him thinking, boy, we could do that on our left-hand side. Doué wasn't even doing anything. There's one time he stopped the ball and fair play. I saw Martinelli do it at the Bernabeu, but it weren't the drippy one. He was doing the Neymar thing for no reason. I was like, we need guys like Dembele. We need guys that we need some guys. We need guys. Arteta, there's a lot you need to do tactically. We need better players, man. I'm not even dissing the players. Like, this is the reality of the situation. Like, yeah, it's romantic. And they're not necessarily the reasons, but Kivio there, Marino there, this one there, that one there. But bro, football's not romantic like life to a degree, you know. It comes about competency. There's haves and have-nots. And we don't have that right now. We're not going to get to the next level without it. Whether you promote that in-house, cool. You hit a lick with Saka. Hit a lick with Miles Lewis-Skelly. Wanyeri, Phil Foden, we're going to have some very uncomfortable conversations when Wanyeri has his little breakout moment. Very uncomfortable. But we need the Yokerezes and the Isaacs and this one and that one. Obviously, I'm not saying we're necessarily going to sign them, but you get the point. Well, this is what's going to happen. But as I said, with the missed chances, the individuals missing the chances, the timing of the subs, the tactics and when it goes wrong and, you know, the brain farts, the missed opportunities on the field. This is, how many times have we seen that in a season? All to do in Paris, man. Like, that's what it is. Like, we weren't good enough. Go out there and win on Saturday and win on Tuesday and just keep moving, man. But you can't help but be jealous. Not jealous, but jealous because I actually think Arteta thinks a lot like Luis Enrique. I've said that in the build-up to this game and I see it. And that's not to praise or boy Arteta, but man, they're Spanish, La Masia, all that kind of stuff. They look at football the same way. But Luis Enrique's thing is you're one on steroids. And I think Luis Enrique understands I can only get so far with certain man in the team. Like, I need certified ones. I'm not saying Arteta hasn't done this, but look at the way Dembele works off the ball. Remember Dembele got dropped for the game in October, owing to how Luis Enrique is trying to change the what PSG are doing and make them more of a team. It's as mad as it sounds. We would have probably done better today if they still had Messi, Neymar, and Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. They got great individuals, great individual qualities, good manager, tactics, all that stuff, and they're working. I'm not saying we're not, but this is the level. This is the semi-finals now. It's unacceptable performance for a semi-finals. Unacceptable. You let yourselves down. Now, the good news and the bad news is life goes on. Now, you lot can feel sorry for yourselves and woe is me, or you can attempt to do better. If you want to do the woe is me thing, tell you don't want to play for the rest of the season. Because what I won't have is my football club getting back in the Champions League and performing like that. I'm not saying it's the worst performance I've even seen necessarily this season in the Champions League, but you're not making it difficult. Our record, because cool, this is the first time, ironically, PSG beat us. This is 1-1 if you want to be shameless in the Champions League, but you sent a statement against Real Madrid. You look at the domestic top six. Obviously, the Emirates is, in terms of atmosphere, we ain't Anfield and St James's Park, and mind you, a couple of probably lower league and championship clubs. But from a footballing point of view, it's becoming it's known as a difficult place. We probably get more plaudits with foreign managers and the foreign kind of viewing of football, even down to, was it this season? An Italian journalist was praising Bukayo Saka and giving him credit for how he reacted to the missed penalty and all of that. I don't really care about that or care about from a domestic point of view, but people are rating you. It's like you telling me that this guy is the craziest fighter in the world and he's going to be the best boxer. I'll go watch him and he's just getting punched up. You lied. The world's watching. And you know what the saddest thing is? We're going to feel shame. If you don't feel shame, you need to leave the club. There's no way. When you lot are driving in your nice cars and going home, probably getting home at whatever, you're going to go to sleep and like, raw. And some of you are going to watch the game again. For all the videos that came out, and I'm not even dissing it necessarily, but for all the videos that came out, they are on Adidas and Arsenal and, Mikel Arteta talking about, we bring your boots and all that stuff that he said against Madrid. People that go to the game, I'm not saying this is me, but people that have been to the last two games have questioned the atmosphere. So as a club, do we really need to pick it up? Because again, the players, as much as the fans are going to be up for Real Madrid or were or weren't up for PSG, the fans will be up for it or not. But if the fans weren't up for it and they see you moving, remember that it's a two-way street. Sometimes the players are looking scared and we got to give them confidence, and sometimes vice versa and all of that. But if you're looking shook, fans are going to be shook. We can only comment on what we're seeing. Lethargic more than anything. You've had rest. You never played at the weekend, so what's going on? Keep it moving, man. Smash the likes. Total chat GPT generated robot tactics he copied from Pep that won't amount to anything because he ain't Pep. If he didn't go full reach so after 2022-23, maybe an original style of play. Good evening. He's up to he frees up. Come on, man. It's not over until it's over. Believe could have been a worse scoreline. You know me, I'm not really with that, but end of the day, bro, just keep going. How did it go? Foxy, brother, I'm not having it from Newcastle, mate. Oh, you know what? Hey, Foxy, I mean, what are you asking me? Are you talking about the game or are you talking about where I went at? You know what? Delicate moments. I think everyone's getting at me. Shoot first, ask questions later. We saying I'm here, man. God, thank God that I'm here. We made a mess of that game. What was the first half tactics? We were slow, got spacing, marking all wrong. Too many gaps, bro. You can't play against a serious team, a serious and attacking team, and cry and not defend compactly and properly and expect it to go right. Why was Dembele free? Why did we switch off at the end? Bacola and Ramos missed sitters. When you find out, let me know, man. It's not over. There's a second leg, but man, that performance wasn't the best showing. Ødegaard needs to step up or be dropped. Ødegaard is finished. He needs to be a sub. This guy has no ego to go up the levels. Big up DG. Roll to 70k. Smash the likes and sub. Martinelli missed two sitters. Trossard missing. Good save from Donnarumma. To be fair, goes to guard. I get this guy at the club. Same old. But like, brother, I'm not being funny. Best part of 2 years now, if not more. I'm not dissing Martinelli. I love him, but we've been seeing you miss sitters. Trossard been missing sitters. These are guys that are not in double figures in the Premier. And big up Trossard, you've been finding your feet of late. Martinelli form of sorts, but we've been here. What about the other 20 odd games? And this is off the back of really the season being it is what it is. It's all played out. Like we go into August trying to win everything, seeing it goes. It's too little, too late. But we knew that last season. As frustrating as it is, we knew all of this. They were still there when we played Real Madrid. It just worked out for us, and credit to the players. They were still there. Our shortcomings as a football club, unfortunately, maybe there's one or two new things, but the majority of stuff around depth, around being clinical, around brain farts, around plan Bs, around, certain, players going through form and certain players, carrying the team, they've all been there. Nothing changes. And it's upsetting as well, more than anything, because not to say we've been the best in Europe, but if we were to do a performance review of how we performed in all 4 competitions, yeah, cool. We got into a League Cup final. I mean, we definitely didn't. League Cup semi-finals, apologies. We could have been in one,